Live from virtual Lime Rock Park, it is the ARCS Mazda Challenge. I'm Rick James, here to bring you all 45 laps of sensational competition. But before we get started, a very, very special word from five-time NASCAR regional champion, Mr. Mark Wirtz.
Hey race fans, the field and starting lineup are set for tonight's ARC event. Tonight's race is being brought to you by our good friends at CorvetteParts.net. When you need Corvette parts, be sure to give them a call. 1-800-757-KEEN. That's 1-800-757-5336. On behalf of Tom and TJ and the Corvette owners across the world, drivers, start your engines.
And those drivers have started their engines. Standing start is go. Mark Thomas in the number 2 car, just pulling away from Cody Pennell in the number 1. Haas, the number 52 of Matt Heel in the 3rd position, but to his inside now, Nick Pressey twisting around. All of these drivers fighting for real estate. Big split throughout this field. Pressey up ahead in the Mach 5 Mazda. Into the kink here, Matt Heel now on the back end of Nick Pressey, who's in the 2nd position. Jeff Yannetta pulling up 4th, and Dakota Kramer running 5th. Now through the final 2 corners, this long, wide, sweeping downhill. Dakota Kramer comes through. Mark Thomas leading lap number 1. Nick Pressey in 2nd. Back to Byron Jones in the number 24 Mazda, just ahead of Terry Gabbard. Patrick Allen falls off the racetrack. Thomas Andrews bringing up the rear in this very special Miller Genuine Draft number 2. Check that out. At the front, it is Mark Thomas in his number 2 Castrol Mazda at the head of this field. Nick Pressey still in the 2nd position. Jeff Yannetta sitting in the 3rd spot now, coming out of the left-hander, right-hander competition. That's Yannetta falling off the track. Now Matt Heel gets around the number 11 Caterpillar Mazda. Cody Pennell and Dakota Kramer fighting it out. Can't forget about John Honeybrink in the Home Depot number 20 car behind the 3 of Kramer. Kurt Swatsworth behind him now coming up that hill in the number 51. He's got Andrew Wisdom next to him in that number 9. Filing down into the sweeping uphill corner. There goes Terry Gabbard and Byron Jones right behind him. Patrick Allen in the 78, 7 seconds ahead of Thomas Andrews. Mark Thomas already 3 laps underway in the number 2. Nick Pressey 2 seconds adrift in the Mach 5 Mazda. Matt Heel sitting 3rd, Jeff Yannetta 4th, and it looks like cars have spread out single file for the most part. John Honeybrink sitting in the 7th position. And now coming up to Andrew Wisdom in the 8th spot. Wisdom, he finds himself in some tight competition, but now he's broken away from the rest of the field. The number 9, MX5, making his way through this, now coming up to the chicane or the quick right-left hand combination. Watch the hands work here. And up that hill without much harm goes Wisdom. Swatsworth now losing a spot. Terry Gabbard gets around him, headed up that hill. Gabbard rocking a very, very special commemorative paint scheme to some of those 9/11 victims. And that looks like Wisdom. No, it's not Wisdom that's gone around. Who was that went around? It was Dakota Kramer who went for a spill. The number 3 car goes off track. Here comes Patrick Allen looking to take the 11th position. Byron Jones looks like he's already off track and not in this competition anymore. We'll keep fans updated on what happened to the number 24. Not sure if he jumped right. There's Byron Jones right there, blinking wildly hard. And you can see sparks just coming off of that car. Hopefully, the 24 able to get back into contention. Meanwhile, Mark Thomas pulling away from Nick Pressey in first, but Matt Heel now closing up the gap to the number 5. Watching the battle for second place once again, Nick Pressey behind the number 2 of Mark Thomas. There's Thomas with a sensational 4-second lead. Matt Heel behind him in that number 52, trying his hardest to catch back up to this field, but can he get around the number 5 of Nick Pressey? Cody Pannell now catching up to Matt Heel, and then Jeff Yanetta falling well off that pace. Thomas Andrews now bringing up that rear. Byron Jones in the 11th spot, working on Kurt Swatsworth for the position. Let's watch these two tangle. Now around that long sweeping right-hander, Byron Jones in that 24, still blinking. Nick Pressey still in the second position, but now Heel fallen outside the top 3. Georgia's Cody Pannell now makes his way into the third position, chasing down Brooklyn's Nick Pressey. These Mazdas not producing a ton of power, but they are very light on their feet, and it's a power to weight ratio calculation that allows them to accelerate just so quick. Here comes Pannell all over the back end of Pressey. Pannell all over that back end, the Brooklyn driver trying to catch up, trying to get closer to Mark Thomas, but right now Thomas finds himself 6 seconds adrift of the competition. Nick Pressey in second with Pannell all over the back end of that Mach 5 Mazda. Here comes Pannell looking for second on Pressey. All over him now, Matt Heel trying to hold off Jeff Yanetta in the 6th position. Andrew Wisdom finds himself on an island up 8 spots from where he started. John Honeybrink 7 positions adrift in the number 20 Home Depot car, but now Stephen Downton starting to catch up in the 54. Nick Pressey ahead of Cody Pannell down the hill into the final corner. 7 laps now underway for these two, and look at the way that those Mazdas just bounce off those curves. If you've just joined us, I'm Rick James bringing you uninterrupted green flag coverage of the CorvetteParts.net ARCS Mazda Challenge. Here comes Pannell to the outside of Pressey, side by side down the Sam Posey straight. Into the right-hander. Now left-hander follows, then the long straight before the chicane. Pressey's off track, trying to save it. Heel gets into Pressey. Pressey falls off the racetrack. Cody Pannell into second. Jeff Yanetta has to slam on the brakes. Nick Pressey still trying to hold on to the race car, and now he's got her pointed in the right direction. There you see Andrew Wisdom now by his lonesome, but he's in the 6th spot. He's only a couple of seconds off of Nick Pressey. There's Byron Jones in the pits getting repairs, been internet problems all night for Jones. Mark Thomas scored as your race leader, 8 seconds ahead of Cody Pennell in second. Matt Heel is in third. Jeff Yanetta fourth. Nick Pressey fifth. And Andrew Wisdom starting to close up that gap, 4 seconds back of the top 5. Again, competition caution will happen 20 laps into this race. We'll have a few caution laps. Drivers will have a chance to come down pit road, get tires, get fuel, and get ready for the second half of this sprint. Ohio's Terry Gabbard now making the run up to Stephen Downton. 3.7 seconds is all that remains between these two drivers. There's Downton up ahead. The Plainfield, Illinois driver now trying to close up the gap to John Honeybrink. This is the battle for 7th. Downton now looking up the inside of Honeybrink. This for the spot, but he can't pull it off down the Sam Posey straight halfway through the first stint in this race. Again, caution will come out after the 20th lap of competition. Mark Thomas now all over the back end. He is catching up to Patrick Allen in stone dead last place. And now he gets around Allen. Patrick Allen now 1 lap down. 2 laps down, excuse me. Yotzking says, had to back out. Internet is not playing nice with me right now. I appreciate the chance and come out and race. Hopefully this will be fixed before the Jingle Jam. Well, Byron, it's a shame you couldn't make it, bud, but I'm glad you're still here. Byron, Byron, if you're still around and you want to join us in the booth, by all means, shoot me a text. Let's get you up here, buddy. We're just over 11 laps into this race. Cody Pennell 8 seconds back of Mark Thomas and starting to close that gap. Matt Heel now trying to get closer up to Cody Pennell and make a challenge for second, but Pennell has been on a rail, the second fastest driver in practice today. There you see Nick Pressey trying to stave off the challenge from Andrew Wisdom. Wisdom has now caught him up, and it's one thing to catch him. It's another thing to pass him, but the St. Louis native, Andrew Wisdom, now to the inside of the Brooklyn Pilot, and Pressey goes off track, saves it. Great save by Nick Pressey. Andrew Wisdom now in position number 5. Cody Pennell, the Georgia native, in the second position, just 1 1/3 seconds ahead of Matt Heel. Heel trying to get just a bit closer. He could use the 78 of Patrick Allen as a pick. Don't forget, Cody Pennell has to get around lapped traffic. Jeff Yanetta also sees this happening in the distance. Andrew Wisdom not able to pull away too successfully from Nick Pressey, and Pressey will have an attacking opportunity. So it's a fight between the top 6 and the rest. Let's go to the blimp view. Nick Pressey sitting in the 5th position, 21 seconds ahead of Stephen Downton in position number 7. Downton trying to get just a bit closer, but he may have to wait until that competition caution. John Honeybrink 3 seconds behind, and Terry Gabbard starting to close up that gap. He sits 9th. Dakota Kramer on the fringes of the top 10, 11 seconds ahead of Connecticut's Thomas Andrews. There goes Mark Thomas to the inside of Andrews once again. Thomas puts Thomas Andrews 1 lap down. Cody Pennell 9 seconds behind, and if anything, that just speaks to the quality of pilot we have in the Brit from Berkshire, Slough's Mark Thomas running away with this one, but of course the competition caution coming at the end of lap 20, will get a chance to bunch these cars back up into the field. Fight for the spot as Terry Gabbard all over the back end of Stephen Downton. Something's gone on with Downton. Let's go see what happened to the Illinois pilot. Oh, just too wide at a left-hander, loses control of the car and into the grass, but he'll get back on the horse and get racing. He finds himself 9th now. Terry Gabbard all over the back end of John Honeybrink now. Honeybrink clipping the grass into the penultimate corner through the Haggerty Bridge and now onto Big Bend. Gabbard briefly goes off the racetrack, but he recovers. Can he keep it pointed in the right way? He does. 14 laps now underway. Gabbard trying to get up to Honeybrink. Brooklyn's Nick Pressey falling off the pace. He finds himself 3 seconds behind Andrew Wisdom. Wisdom, though, catching up to Jeff Yanetta. There's the pass on Yanetta. Wisdom to the inside of Jeff Yanetta for 4th. Goes in wide. He clips the grass. Here comes Yanetta again. Wisdom has to slow down. And a little do-si-do as Jeff Yanetta gets 4th back from Andrew Wisdom. Yanetta 2 seconds off of 3rd place. Matt Heel. Here's Heel all over the back end of Cody Pennell. Does Heel have what it takes to get around him? Will he just ride around for another 5 laps? Heel to the inside out of the uphill chicane section. Here comes the 52 to the inside of the 1. Will they make contact in Big Bend? No. Heel to the inside, side by side into the final corner. Look at how tight these cars are. 16 laps now underway. 5 laps remain in the first half. Cody Pennell hangs on for 2nd place. At least 4 now. Matt Heel now coming up behind the Haas Mazda. Jeff Yanetta still in front of Andrew Wisdom, and Kurt Swatsworth has had an incident. Let's see what happened to the 51. Into the chicane. Oh, he just goes right into the grass, loses control. Was there any heavy contact? No, Patrick Allen right behind him. Allen still trying to fight for his lead lap spot, although Swatsworth and Allen are battling for position. Both of these cars 2 laps down, fighting for 12th, respectively. 17 laps underway. Mark Thomas still leading by an enormous margin, but the battle for 2nd starting to heat up. Now take a look at Matt Heel, Jeff Yanetta, Andrew Wisdom, and Nick Pressey all fighting for that 2nd through 6th position. Pennell trying to hold off Heel in the final 4 laps of the stage. Jeff Yanetta just waiting in the wings, riding out this first segment of racing. And in the number 9 Leverage Mazda, Andrew Wisdom all over the back end of Yanetta. This for the spot, all this for position. Heel trying to get the spot. Terry Gabbard recently falling off track, as did Dakota Kramer. Matt Heel all over the back end of Cody Pennell once again through the uphill section. Thomas Andrews in the number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Mazda. Just ahead of Cody Pennell. Andrews not on the lead lap. He is the 2nd of 2 cars, 1 lap down. Dakota Kramer, the first car 1 lap down. He was just put a lap down by Mark Thomas. Stephen Downton is the next victim on that list. Downton all over the back end of Terry Gabbard. This, the battle for the 8th spot. There's a crash. Thomas Andrews goes around in the number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Mazda. Let's have a look. This is Andrews. Looks like he just had a spill here coming to the penultimate corner. Keep your eye on that black MGD Mazda through Big Bend. Let's speed it up a bit because it comes after the right-hander. And here he is in front of all these lap-down cars. Let's see what happens to Andrews through right-hander. Now through left-hander. Was there contact? No. Andrews just runs it wide and goes for a bit of a spin. So Mark Thomas still ahead of the field. Yotes King says, man, there are some good-looking Mazdas on the track. Aren't these paint schemes just fantastic? Absolutely love the way that they look. Cody Pennell rocking the Haas colors. Jeff Yanetta, you saw briefly, going for a ride in those Caterpillar colors. Andrew Wisdom sitting in the 5th spot. Roughly no practice for this driver, but starting stone dead last, making his way up to 5th. He's doing a fantastic job so far. Mark Thomas crossing the line for lap 20, so this will be the last lap of the first segment. Cody Pennell sitting in the 2nd spot, just ahead of Matt Heel. 2:1:52, your top 3, with Jeff Yanetta rolling in the 4th position. There's Andrew Wisdom sitting 5th, trying to get one more spot before this caution comes out. 6th place, Nick Pressey in the Mach 5 Mazda, rolling around for his final positions as well. There's John Honeybrink, who's ahead of Stephen Downton. Honeybrink finding himself nearly on the end of that lead lap, and Terry Gabbard on the very end of the lead lap. He'll survive here, briefly losing that battle to Stephen Downton. Matt Heel up the hill, gets around Cody Pennell as Mark Thomas comes across that line. 20 laps now complete, so the caution comes out, and that's going to slow down our field. Fans at home, we're going to take a 3-minute break just to ensure that we will be commercial free to the end. Don't go anywhere. We will be back in, actually, you know what? Let's do a 1-minute break. We'll be back in just 60 seconds. And we'll be back to talk to some drivers, get ready for the second half of this race. Don't go anywhere. Drivers getting their tires, getting their fuel, getting ready for the last 20 or so laps of competition. Let's see if we can bother Berkshire's Mark Thomas and see how he's enjoying his race so far. Mark Thomas, Rick James up top. You got me?
I do, Rick. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, buddy. You're looking good out there. You dominated the first half of this race, and it looks like this awesome Keen Parts prize pack could be yours if you play your cards right in the second half. Is it a difficult race so far?
Yeah, this track's really strange. Sometimes it feels like it grips, and then the next lap you'll go the exact same line, the exact same corner, and there'll be nothing there. So it's It's a real balancing act.
Well, you look good, you sound good. Stephen Downton, Jeff Yanetta, Nick Pressey, all of these drivers gunning after you, man. Where would you say is your biggest weakness out on the racetrack?
Ooh. That's probably going into turn 1, 2. It's tough to get that right, and if it goes wrong, then it goes really wrong.
Oh, absolutely. You got to nail those markers all the time, man. Well, best of luck, Mark. We're going to bother some other drivers here. Enjoy the rest of your race.
Thanks, Rick. Pleasure talking.
Jeff Yanetta sitting in that second position. Lights are out on the pace car. Let's have a quick word with Jeff and see if he's got anything for Mark Thomas. Jeff Yanetta, Rick James up top. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's going on?
Hey, buddy, I'm enjoying this race so far. You're going to have 22 to go at the line. Mark Thomas is leading this race. Do you have anything for the Brit from Berkshire?
Well, I didn't before, but I'm going to try to watch him and learn from him, so let's hope for the best here.
Only one way to find out, Jeff. Put on a show, buddy. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, thanks a lot, Rick.
Getting ready to go racing. Mark Thomas still leading. Lights are still on atop the pace car here. Let's see if we can get a word from Brooklyn's Nick Pressey and see how he's enjoying this race so far. Nick Pressey, Rick James up top. You got me?
Yeah, I got you. Rick, how you doing?
You got a shot to win it, Nick? What do you think?
Dear dude, it's looking pretty tough, but hopefully, in every episode of Speed Racer, there's some part of the show where he learns how to go faster and win. Maybe this is the part where I do that.
Maybe, Nick. We'll be cheering you on, bud. Best of luck tonight.
Thank you, Rick.
Folks, we got to give a big shout out to all the good people at CorvetteParts.net, or Keen Parts as you might know them. Corvette parts are all they do. Not sure which part you need, not sure what it's called, not a problem. Take a look at the 900 plus diagrams and you'll find your parts fast. Keen Parts has over 18,000 Corvette parts and accessories in inventory. Corvettes are all they do, so whether you're looking for a complete interior for your vintage 58 Corvette or a performance accessory for your 09, they'll have the Corvette part you need and the expertise you want. For your Corvette exterior, they've got you covered bumper to bumper. They've got emblems, moldings, grills, bumpers and brackets, fiberglass, exterior trim, and weather stripping. For the interior, they have steering wheels, seats, dash pads, consoles, carpeting, door panels, seat belts, interior trim, and fasteners. Under the hood, they've got it all, from air cleaners to exhaust systems, air conditioning, radiators, and valve covers, all the way down to the decals and correct fasteners to bolt it all back together. They're working to make it the most friendliest and most informative Corvette parts and accessories website around. They still have a way to go, but they'd love to hear any comments or suggestions you have. Check them out on keenparts.com, corvetteparts.net, or call them at 800-757-KEEN. Getting ready to go racing one more time, Mark Thomas and Jeff Yanetta about to get lined up this time through. It looks like a couple of cars are getting that wave around. No, pace car is in. We're getting ready to go. Green flag is out. 21 laps to go at Lime Rock. Let's go racing. Everyone makes it through the first corner mostly unharmed, now through right-hander and left-hander. Yost says such a good camera shot. That car right there belongs to the 51 of Swadsworth, just on the tail end of the lead lap. Watch everybody funnel through the chicane and up that hill. It's a mad dash for the win. 20 to go, this time by. Out of the final corner now. Mark Thomas leading Jeff Yanetta. Cody Pennell in the second position. Is that Nick Pressey who goes for a spill? It is the number 5 Mazda back out onto the racing surface, and he manages to save the race car. Let's go have a look and see what happened to Nick Pressey. This was a long time coming. Already out of the final corner, it looks like he just clipped the grass. Let's have another look. And that's exactly what happened there. Nick just grabbing the grass, slamming the wall, and Speed Racer needs a little bit of help there. A very wounded Mazda. Terry Gabbard now coming up behind him in the 8th position. Surely he'll take 7th away from Brooklyn's Nick Pressey. At the front, Mark Thomas 2 seconds ahead of Cody Pennell. There's Andrew Wisdom and Jeff Yanetta sitting 3rd and 4th, really fighting for it. Pennell goes well off the track. Now here comes Andrew Wisdom with a mistake-free final corner. 18 laps to go this time by. Mark Thomas leading by 2.5 seconds, but into turn 1. Wisdom looks to the inside of Pennell, can't pull it off. There's Wisdom right there pulling it off. He's got 2nd place from Cody Pennell. Wisdom, Pennell, Yanetta 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Matt Heel rounding out the top 5, 6 seconds away from 4th place, but John Honeybrink 2 seconds off of Matt Heel, with that number 3 of Dakota Kramer sandwiching those 2 cars. The 51 of Kurt Swatsworth sitting back in the distance. Dakota Kramer almost a full lap ahead of Swatsworth, but still hard fighting going with all of these drivers. Thomas Andrews in the number 2 MGD car finds himself the first car on the lead lap ahead of Kramer, but only by 10 seconds, and Kramer is closing the gap. Here comes Wisdom, up 12 spots from where he started and closing the gap up to Mark Thomas. Somebody just went around here. Was that the 51 of Swatsworth? No. It looked like Thomas Andrews that had that brief spill. And it was on the outside of Wisdom. Thomas Andrews just taking the MGD MX-5 for a bit of off-roading. No harm, no foul. Andrews still holding down the top 10. Matt Heel on the outside of Thomas Andrews now. Andrews kindly giving up the position. Meanwhile, with 17 laps to go, Andrew Wisdom getting closer to Mark Thomas. This race is far from over. Wisdom just 0.6 of a second ahead of Cody Pennell. Let's ride around for a lap with Cody Pennell and see how he gets around Lime Rock Park. Not an easy racetrack, as you heard from Mark Thomas, but certainly a fun racetrack for these drivers. Riding along now with the number 1 Haas Mazda. always working that wheel constantly on that wheel, just turning it, never at rest. It must be a physically demanding car, but look at the top three getting closer and closer. Thomas, Wilson, Pennell, your top three coming to 14 laps to go this time by. Jeff Yanetta in the fourth spot, 7.8 seconds off the pace, but Matt Heel, 0.4 of a second behind him. John Honeybrink has 6th place all locked up, but Nick Pressey starting to close that gap. Terry Gabbard, he's behind Nick Pressey by 13 seconds, and then it's just massive gaps from all of these drivers here. Thomas Andrews just 1.2 seconds ahead of Dakota Kramer. Kramer catching up to the Connecticut driver who's trying to hold off. 7th place, Brooklyn's Nick Pressey. Pressey now to the inside, well, he forces the issue a bit, but he doesn't force it too bad. Thomas Andrews getting out of the way, and he loses the spot to Kramer. Dakota Kramer now moves into the top 10. Wisdom fell off the pace just a little bit more. He finds himself 1 second away from Mark Thomas and Cody Pennell, 1.5 seconds off of Andrew Wisdom. Lucky number 13 laps to go. Mark Thomas, Andrew Wisdom, Cody Pennell, your top three. Dakota Kramer 1.5 seconds ahead of Thomas Andrews. Stephen Downton, some good distance ahead of Dakota Kramer, but here we have Jeff Yanetta only 0.4 ahead of Matt Heel. Yanetta, will he be able to hold off Heel? Yanetta goes wide through the right-hander. Here comes Matt Heel to the inside. Both of these drivers side by side fighting for the spot. Heel around the outside. He's going to need to do a little bit better than that. Yanetta making that Mazda as wide as possible. Up the hill once again, Mark Thomas can see Andrew Wisdom in the background. Cody Pennell falling off the pace, so with a dozen laps remaining, it's going to be Thomas versus Wisdom, slugging it out for the Mazda Challenge crown. Wisdom has been the fastest driver all night long. His best lap, only 7/100ths quicker than Thomas, but these two are the only drivers to record a 1:01 time under 1:01.5. Matt Heel, the next quickest lap with a 1:01.55. Cody Pennell with the fastest lap of the day. Andrew Wisdom and Mark Thomas not too far off of Cody. And now the leaders coming up to the lapped car of Stephen Downton. And is that Thomas that's gone off? That is Mark Thomas that's gone off. Let's go back and see what happened to the race leader. Mark Thomas just falls off the racetrack. What just happened here? And he just lost concentration. The 54 of Thomas going wide, just ahead of Big Bend. Off the track through the final corner, Andrew Wisdom and Cody Pennell now in the second position and coming to 10 laps to go. Andrew Wisdom has a 3-second lead over Georgia's Cody Pennell. Yotes King in the chat says, wow, very unfortunate. Unfortunate indeed. Coming to the final 10 laps. of competition. Cody Pennell 3 seconds adrift of Andrew Wisdom. Mark Thomas only 1.3 seconds behind Cody Pennell, but he still wants to fight hard. Cody needs to drive out of his mirror, and 11 seconds behind them all, Jeff Yanetta, but Yanetta not going without rest. Matt Heel behind him in car 52. Let's ride around with Heel and see how he gets up to Jeff in the cat car. Heel looks inside, Heel looks outside, but he's just on the rear end of that 11 Caterpillar car. Now down the back, there you see Heel accelerating, diligently stuck to the back end of Yanetta. Wisdom leading this race back to the front. There he is with such a fantastic gap over Cody Pennell. Andrew Wisdom leading by 3.4 seconds over Cody Pennell, who's got Berkshire's Mark Thomas right on his back end. Thomas trying to close that gap to second. Matt Heel trying to get past Jeff Yanetta for the 4th position, coming to 8 laps to go. Close action on every inch of this racetrack. Heel getting a bit closer to Yanetta. Wisdom pulling away from Pennell, but Pennell can't pull away from Thomas. A bit of two-wheeled action out of Big Bend. 8 laps to go. If you've just recently joined us, I'm Rick James, bringing you uninterrupted green flag coverage of the CorvetteParts.net ARCS Mazda Challenge, obviously presented by the good folks over at CorvetteParts.net. A big shout out to Mr. Mark Wirtz, the 5-time NASCAR regional champion, who was kind enough to deliver the starting command for today's race, the command to fire engines, we should say. Andrew Wisdom, however, putting on a masterclass while we watch this fight for second. Pennell only 4/10 ahead of Mark Thomas, and it looks like one Thomas Andrews goes off track again. Thomas Andrews running in the 11th position, 10 seconds behind Dakota Kramer. Stephen Doughton rocking the 9th spot comfortably. He's some distance behind Terry Gabbard, but still giving it his best. Gabbard 22 seconds behind John Honeybrink, who is 6 seconds behind Brooklyn's Nick Pressey. Nick on the back end of the top 6, 11 seconds behind the top 5, with Matt Heel chasing down Jeff Yanetta for the 4th position. Mark Thomas still in 3rd, but only 4/10 adrift of Cody Pennell. Coming to 6 laps to go. Thomas will squeeze the pressure on the Georgia pilot, but will the Brit from Berkshire be able to secure a silver medal? Will Andrew Wisdom make the same fatal mistake that took Mark Thomas out of winning contention? 6 laps to go at Lime Rock. Through right-hander and left-hander, these two will continue to fight, as will Jeff Yanetta and Matt Heel, but Heel falling a little bit more adrift of Jeff Yanetta now. 5 to go next time by. There's Kurt Swatsworth in the 51. Swatsworth running 12th in this race. 3 laps down, but still giving a valiant effort. Patrick Allen and Byron Jones, the only 2 DNFs of tonight's race. Nevertheless, we are still plugging away. 5 to go this time by. Here comes Andrew Wisdom to collect that marker. There's Terry Gabbard trying to hold off Andrew Wisdom. Gabbard skates wide. He is now the first car 1 lap down. John Honeybrink next on Wisdom's radar, but Honeybrink well up the hill. Cody Pennell trying to hold off Berkshire's Mark Thomas. 4 to go this time by. Jeff Yanetta in 4th, going extremely wide, trying to hold off the 52 of Heel. I love that sound, hearing the cars decelerate. Look at this, here comes Thomas. Not able to pull the move off. Now back to Yanetta versus Heel. And I was just saying, I love the pops in the exhaust when you can hear the cars decelerating through the corner. It's marvelous. Now that's a sound. Listen again when he decelerates in turn 1. Absolutely brilliant sound. Stephen Downton running into a spot of trouble, briefly falling off the racetrack. Dakota Kramer now only 8 seconds behind Downton. Downton can't afford any more mistakes. Kramer wants that spot. Downton now out of Big Bend, and Kramer chasing down John Honeybrink. Not for position, but he wants that position. Kurt Swatsworth briefly goes off racetrack. The 51 with heavy damage to his MX-5. Let's see what happened to Swats. Oh, he's already messed up. Let's go back even further and see what happened here to the 51. Body parts already hanging off the racetrack. What did you do, Swats? And this could be it. Yup, that's exactly it. Just 2 hot into 1. Have a look. Passenger at that point, Swats. Big hit, even up against those tires. 3.4 seconds in the lead. Andrew Wisdom trying to get around the number 2 of Thomas Andrews. Got to give a big shout out to the 2 of Thomas Andrews. Did Jeff Yanetta just go around? He did! Contact between the 11 and the 52. Yanetta and Heel fighting for the position, and they make contact with 2 laps to go. Oh, Yanetta literally climbing on the back end of Yanetta. There's Yanetta. There's Matt Heel. And have a look. Well, the race is about to come to an end, so we can't afford to have one more look here. Cody Pennell still ahead of Mark Thomas as he gets off the racetrack there, but Jeff Yanetta now being scored 4th. Nick Pressey on the back end of the top 5, and Matt Heel in 6th. Look at him just throwing that car into the corners. Andrew Wisdom just needs to hang on to the race car, but Cody Pennell needs to hang on to his lunch because Mark Thomas has been giving him nauseating pressure since we restarted this race. A big shout out once again to Terry Gabbard and Thomas Andrews, our 2 drivers playing race control this evening. We couldn't do it without you guys, and of course we could not do it without you, the fans. Stay tuned. We're going to have podium interviews at the conclusion of this race, but not before the action is over. Cody Pennell all over the back end of Mark Thomas all over the back end of Cody Pennell, pardon me. But this here, now, this is the final chance that Mark Thomas has for second. Cody Pennell trying to hold off to the silver medal spot. Andrew Wisdom has the win if he can keep the car on the racetrack, but will Cody Pennell be able to hold off Berkshire's Mark Thomas, the Georgia pilot, looking to stay in second? Matt Heel catching up to Nick Pressey to pass him for 5th. Here's Thomas. He'll have one more attempt into the chicane. He's got to run. Thomas just can't pull it off. Headed up that hill towards Big Bend. Thomas has one more shot. Into the penultimate corner. Thomas all over the back end of Cody Pannell. Out of the final corner, Andrew Wisdom leading this race. Mark Thomas won't get second, but Andrew Wisdom comes across the line, and he will win the CorvetteParts.net Mazda Challenge. Cody Pannell gets second. Mark Thomas finishes in third. Jeff Yanetta fourth. Nick Pressey still fighting for that fifth spot. Here comes Matt Heel all over the back end of the Mach 5. Heel puts the bumper to Pressey. Through the final corner, Pressey gets loose. He tries to hang on to her. Heel to the inside. They touch. Out of the final corner, Matt Heel gets sixth position away from Nick Pressey. Fifth position away from Nick Pressey. Great job. Great finish there. These guys will park their cars after a well-earned top 5 spot. There's John Honeybrink coming home in 9th, but your race winner, Andrew Wisdom from St. Louis, wins the CorvetteParts.net ARCS Mazda Challenge, starting stone dead last. Andrew Wisdom gets the W. Fans at home, don't go anywhere. We're going to have top 3 interviews in just a moment. Kind of hard to do donuts in a car with such little horsepower, but Wisdom is trying nonetheless, and you'll give us a little bit of a show there. Cody Pannell coming by to congratulate the winner as well, doing a little bit of love. Cody Pannell trying to do some fishtails. Everybody doing their their little celebrations here, having some fun with these Mazdas, throwing them around. Fans at home, stay put. We're going to have top 3 podium interviews in a couple of minutes. Now on the podium with our top 3 presented by CorvetteParts.net, starting with the Brit from Berkshire, Slough's Mark Thomas gets the bronze medal tonight. Oh, Marcus. You have a good time today, buddy? How was your race?
Yeah, it was good. I thought I had it covered, and then like an absolute plum, I took fuel on my last stop, and that like killed my time a little bit because I was running a little heavy, and then I made a mistake coming out of one of the corners. I hit the grass, got all sorts of sideways, and I just couldn't make the time back up. It was just, the car was too heavy, and Cody and Andrew were just, they were gone. They were so quick. I could maybe Cody down just a little bit, but I didn't have enough poke to make the move stick, and I weren't gonna. Yeah, you know me, Rick. I'm not gonna push somebody out of the way to get the win. That's just not me.
Regardless, it still looked like a good time. You have fun out there today, Mark?
You know what? For such an underpowered little car, these are still a giggle, and I enjoy that. Yeah, I had a good time. Always have a good time.
Brilliant, man. Congratulations on that third place finish. Now with Georgia's Cody Pennell. Cody, talk about those last few laps. You must have been sweating some sweet Georgia bullets.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun run to the end there with Mark. I've raced with him before, I think in the OG League, so I knew that he would race me clean and hard, and that's exactly what happened. I didn't expect that race to go as well as it did for me when I nearly bended on the first lap, so I'm satisfied with second place.
Sounds like you had a blast every time, man. Would you do these again?
Oh yeah, for sure, and definitely got to thank you, Rick, for putting this on and broadcasting it and the whole deal. It was a lot of fun.
Glad to have you, man. Congratulations on that second place finish. Our winning interview now brought to us by the good folks over at CorvetteParts.net. And like their name says, Corvette parts are all they do. Not sure which part you need, not sure what it's called, not a problem. Take a look at the 900 plus diagrams and you'll find your parts fast. Keen Parts has over 18,000 Corvette parts and accessories in inventory. So whether you're looking for a complete interior for your vintage 58 Corvette or a performance accessory for your 09, they'll have the Corvette part you need and the expertise you want. Check them out at CorvetteParts.net, KeenParts.com, or give them a phone call at 800-757-KEEN. And now the winner. Driver of the number 9 Leverage Mazda MX-5, Andrew Wisdom, from dead last to first. How did you pull that off?
I honestly have no idea. Somebody sent that invite over at the last second, and I tried to launch the application as fast as I could. And I think I got into the grid with 8 seconds left. But before even missing the whole race. The Mazdas are just fun to drive. They're kind of like big old go-karts, so just real comfortable in them. Driven them a lot and then different leagues in the past. So yeah, I didn't expect to go that well. That caution really saved me too, to be able to even have a shot at it. But yeah, it was pretty fun.
A thrilling race, and you end up getting that throwback die cast, a couple of tumblers, a hero card, some t-shirts, an excellent prize pack that we're going to send to you from CorvetteParts.net. But you, Andrew Wisdom, win the inaugural CorvetteParts.net ARCS Mazda Challenge. But most importantly, it sounds like you had fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thanks for the invite. I didn't know what was going on, so it was really cool to come in and do that.
My pleasure. Glad to have you. And what a race it was. Fans at home, thank you all so much for tuning in. That's going to do it. Short, sweet, and to the point. Stay tuned to Rick James TV tomorrow night. The OG Cup Series races its semifinal at Homestead. And then we'll be back after the weekend for some mods at New Hampshire. Until then, fans at home, thank you so much for tuning in. We cannot do these streams without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Subscribe, drop me a line on Twitter. Let me know how you're feeling. Let's talk about racing, everything else, and the like. Stay safe. Take care.